Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. It's a tough year to be making a living as a dairy farmer. Vermont farmers are receiving the lowest milk prices in more than a decade. Simply put, there's an oversupply of milk, and that situation isn't likely to change in the near future. The low milk prices are affecting all dairy farmers, including organic. Keith Silva was at Vermont's Organic Dairy Producers Conference and has more on the situation.
It's a challenge that we haven't had since 2004.
Vermont dairy farmers are facing a crisis in 2018, low pay prices. The pay price is what the farmer receives for each 100 pounds of milk their cows produce. The pay price for conventional and organic milk is down by about 15% in 2018 as compared to the previous few years, according to the University of Vermont Extension. The drop in price is primarily due to an oversupply. Pembroke Heritage Farm in Randolph Center is a certified organic dairy run by Tony and Christine Brown. The Browns are able to weather the current crisis a bit better than others because their farm is paid for. And yet, Christine Brown doesn't want her business losing money.
The last 2 years, the price has been dropping. And this year, I project it's going to be worse, and for about 25% of our income will be lost. So for us, because we're debt-free, is better because we have more room for flexibility, whereas a lot of farmers have tremendous infrastructure costs that have been financed, and they don't have that wiggle room that we have. And so it's very challenging for those farmers right now, and I'm concerned about the industry in general because of that.
Brown was one of several presenters at a panel on financial basics at the 2018 Vermont Organic Dairy Producers Conference organized by UVM Extension.
Packed agenda again this year.
On average, organic dairy farmers receive twice the pay price of conventional farmers. In the first quarter of 2018, the average conventional pay price was about $15 per hundredweight, while the average organic pay price was about $30. That's according to the Vermont Agency of Agriculture. The higher organic pay price is due to increased costs to produce organic milk. In addition, organic milk companies like Organic Valley Co-op, which has 119 farms in Vermont, including the Browns, uses a quota system to try to control supply. Besides the low pay price, there are other factors affecting all Vermont dairy farms in 2018.
There's a lot of pressure on farms. There's water regulations from the state that are costly infrastructure improvements. There's animal welfare for organic requirements that are more and more pressures for housing concerns and what your barn looks like. So for many farmers, that may mean costly infrastructures that need to be adapted or built to meet demands. If you have a very small margin to begin with, like many farmers do, it leaves very little leeway. So you add that on top of the price cut, it obviously affects, farmer morale and everything else. It's almost like a perfect storm at this point.
I can't tell you yet if it's a good year or a bad year. It's just we need to get ready to operate with these lower milk prices.
Jordy Lind milks 75 cows on his farm in South Walden. He's diversified his business with a sugaring operation and a breeding sow business. Andy Wood's advice about up-to-date record keeping was a reminder to Lind about his current financial situation.
I do think now it would pay us to become better at managing the budgeting and record keeping. We'd been thinking for a while, boy, we could get a lot better and sharper with the numbers, and seeing them today gave us more reason to want to try.
If there's a silver lining to this cloud of financial gloom that settled over Vermont's dairy farms in 2018, it may be as simple as this. It does pay to be hopeful.
You don't do this business if you're not optimistic. We've been lucky. We got started right after the 08-09 dairy crisis. We had several years of good prices to build up and get on our feet as a business. It was steady, and we're taking our first real licking. So we're new at this. I don't blame more experienced operators if they're a little more sick of the beating, but we're in our first real tough price period, and we're hoping it's not too long or too low, but we're optimistic for lack of any better idea.
Back at Pembroke Heritage Farm, Brown leans on her experience as a dairy farmer for the support she needs to ride out this current crisis.
It's going to take a while for the situation to stabilize, but the reality is in the dairy world there's always been up and down cycles, and to expect it not to affect organic in some ways is rather naive, I think. And so you need to kind of always be prepared in some aspect for that volatility. And for us, in the next year, we'll probably reassess some cost and find things that you could, perhaps do a better job with. But record keeping is the perfect place to start because you've got to know where you're at to begin with.
No matter if a farmer operates a conventional or organic dairy, 2018 is shaping up to be a challenging year. Perhaps 2019 will be better. Vermont dairy farmers can only hope. In Randolph Center, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
UVM Extension offers business support to all dairy farmers, organic and conventional. For more information, check the website on your screen. Go to uvm.edu/extension and then click on the link to agriculture. Whether your business is farming or something else, we know that starting up takes a lot of planning and preparation, and even then it's an uncertain endeavor. For some students at the University of Vermont, a new funding opportunity is giving them support to take their ideas to the next level and get their businesses off the ground. Rebecca Gollin tells us about the innovative program.
Do we like the number of 6? Do we want to increase it to give,
There's a new resource for the University of Vermont's up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
The Catamount Innovation Fund is UVM's first student-run venture catalyst program.
Medical student Al Marquez is one of the co-founders of the Catamount Innovation Fund.
We're a completely student-run team. All of the operations, all of the investments, all of the consulting is done by current UVM students. And current students, whether graduate or undergraduate, as well as alumni of up to 5 years, are eligible to apply.
Teams apply to be part of a year-long program where they're paired with an undergraduate business analyst who helps them develop their idea. The money to support the ventures comes from UVM alumni. Throughout the year, the students are provided with resources and small grants to get their businesses off the ground. And at the end of the year, those teams are eligible for up to $10,000 for further development.
Whereas people like to hold physical products or see a service, especially one.
Throughout the time, I mentioned we provide a lot of resources in terms of workspace, funding for prototype development. We have workshops led by local members of the startup community. And at the end, teams will be rewarded with money to help them reach their next and final milestone in the accelerator program.
In the first year of the program, 24 teams applied and 6 were selected. Those who participated had a variety of business ideas and products ranging in stages of development. They're here at UVM's Davis Center to share the culmination of their work for the year in a demo day.
So why not make a bigger stress on collaboration while we're still in school?
Our project is pretty preliminary, so the brunt of our work so far has been seeing what's out there, like who is doing something similar to what we're doing. How do we progress forward? Like before developing, do you wireframe, do you prototype? Getting in contact with people who've been through this before.
Like Marquez, Sam Logan and the other members of his team are medical students. They're developing a mobile app that seeks to streamline information and increase efficiency for patients as they're discharged from the hospital.
You might be sick, you might be just tired and stressed out, you might even be on drugs. And either way, it's not really fair for you to have to comprehend everything that you need to know. And not being able to do your wound care as best as you can, maybe missing a couple drug doses, something as simple as that can really hurt your recovery and your care. So we hope to take those discharge notes and organize them better, put them on your phone so you can see everything by appointment, so you can search by like contraindication of like this medication or all of your medications. So not so much pressure is put on that few moments, those like 5 minutes where you just need to understand everything. So you can go home and you can work with your care better.
For Logan and his team, working with their business analyst helped them keep track of the big picture.
They help you with things that, I mean, as a med student, I'm not really familiar with. They helped us get in contact with mentors. That's not something that I've really had to do in this setting before. They helped us do market research, also something that was quite opaque. They helped us refine our processes, which is something that I never thought I would say, in that I have a team of 3 people. Should we all be doing the same thing? Should we be doing different things? How do we be more efficient? And they really helped us with that.
I knew I had some tools that I could help them with, but I also knew that I would take a lot out of it, like you would with an internship or something like that.
Julia Campanella is one of the student business analysts working with the fund. She was paired with a different team who's developing an opioid risk assessment tool. It was a new topic for Campanella.
It was something totally outside of anything I knew about. Being a business major with a studio art minor, I don't do anything medical related, but I've always found it to be really interesting, especially the drug epidemic that's going on right now.
The opioid epidemic is something that doesn't only affect drug dealers or our typical person. It affects everyone we know.
Campanella helped the team network with business and medical professionals in the area to develop their idea and begin bringing it to fruition. The team is now working with a programmer to create a basic version of their tool that they will then be able to pitch to potential clients. And at the end of the experience, Campanella says she has taken a lot away.
It's done a few things for me. It's first of all helped me meet students here at UVM that I wouldn't normally meet, which has been really big for me, and connecting with people who have similar interests, and that's definitely enhanced my own experience at UVM. It's also helped me connect with a lot of people in the local area and professors that I wouldn't normally work with, and that's been really cool just to get ideas from them, even for things like future career goals and jobs and stuff like that. I've definitely opened a lot of doors through being involved with the fund.
Offering students a real-world experience while they're still in school is invaluable.
This offering is filling the need of how can we keep those students who, on the one hand, want to learn about entrepreneurship and want a real live experience. It's one thing to watch Shark Tank on TV. It's another thing to be the shark in the room actually making the decisions about who gets the funding to go forward.
Eric Munson is the faculty advisor for the group. He's been impressed with the progress he's seen the teams make over the year.
On the one hand, the analysts are people who are interested in entrepreneurship, but they're not ready to take the dive just yet. So it gives them a lot of experience on the investment side of the table and decision-making, the training side of the table. Very valuable skills, but there's this other cohort of students, the folks we saw tonight, who had ideas and were ready to run with those ideas this year.
Then I developed the universal binding attachment and wrote a provisional patent application, and I'm extremely excited to announce that as of today, the provisional patent has been filed.
For some participants, the experience has opened their eyes to their options for when they leave school. Business student Campanella is now contemplating a future as an entrepreneur.
The takeaway from working with the fund, and then I also happened to have started a research assistant position this semester as well with a professor in the business school. The culmination of the tools that I've learned from the both of them have made me realize this is a field I want to go into, which I would have not known about 6 months ago. So that's been really exciting for me, really exploring kind of who I am and what my interests are. It's definitely helped take away something that I didn't know would come about.
For me, it's a way to kind of integrate with medicine and like look at it from an entirely different perspective And that's a component of, I want that to be a component of my career, like going forward. So it's been really cool to be able to do that.
It's a taste of real-world business experience for these UVM students as they start their careers. In Burlington, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for joining us. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.